I'm Craig Willms, the curator of the project in the Cube, Marks in Progress with Christine Savage, Nathan Skyers, and Clement Ye. I thought I'd start by kind of getting around to how this idea of putting a group show of drawings together kind of came about. And I was thinking about this, and a number of years ago, I saw uh, the sculptor Richard Serra speak uh, regarding his sculpture, but he talked about how daily practice was important for artists, and his method of daily practice was drawing. And not only were those his working drawings for future large large scale sculptures, but they were also uh, just like they also ended up in the gallery in the place where he was speaking. So they became these kind of finished works as well as what turned out to be these, I think it was the torqued ellipses or something, a large scale work that came down the line. Within months of that, I also had gone through artist studios and had seen the actual working drawings of Richard Serra framed and up in their studio like a work of art. So I was kind of thinking about the idea of drawing and how it is both that kind of working in progress idea, commonly seen as that, and still seen and collected as kind of final works or finished works. So in the introduction to this exhibition, I say a little bit about how uh, drawing wasn't always taken as this kind of finished work or final work, but as this kind of in progress thing. And then it's been, I'd say, you can argue the time, but the last 50 years or so, it's seen more as the exhibiting finished practice. So the exhibition was really about trying to show a little bit of that, but also uh, kind of figuring out uh, how to view this work kind of on its own, not in comparison to painting, sculpture, other mediums. So in the last couple of years, I'd really been thinking about putting together a group show of drawing. In that time, Clement Ye had sent me a proposal of the actual works that are in the Cube exhibition right now, Movements in Space, which is taken from a film, and from that film hired a model to recreate the dance moves and then create this kind of uh, animation of sorts with frames ongoing and very much life drawing and this kind of somewhat traditional approach. Christine Savage in the last little while as well. She is a 2008 TRU BFA grad who I had selected for the Curator's Choice exhibition, which comes from the BFA class way back then, which I think was one of my first exhibitions that I actually curated or coordinated. And after kind of a hiatus, she viewed drawing as her way back into her art practice. So she was actually kind of taking up this idea of daily practice, doing blind contour drawings, and then kind of an extension of that to finished works. Nathan Skyers, I've known for a little while. He's more coming from a commercial art and illustration background. And, I have seen him often back when the Counts Art Gallery was doing drink and draw. So having him come along and have quite a hand of putting together sketches. And also to him and Clement actually uh, cross paths a lot through life drawing, I believe, up at TRU. And I really wanted to highlight these different approaches and kind of show the in progress kind of behind them as well. And I think there's a little bit of play back and forth on some of them. So you'll see um, Christine's uh, blind contour kind of daily practice drawings tacked to the wall. And then you'll see her kind of final five works in this series that are with blind contour. Like, I'm not really sure. It's not like the first ones on the wall are the kind of prep for the next step. She just kind of does these works larger and maybe more finished, but whereas she called her kind of working drawings kind of, she just kind of let herself go and more free. There's more intent and purpose on the final drawings that are seen in the cube. Also on that wall, you'll see Nathan Skyer's work, and his approach is very much embraced technology, and partly perhaps through his his job of being a commercial designer and working with digital tools and digital sketch pads, and but he still maintains like a moleskin sketchbook and puts these things together. So ideas get jotted down, components get jotted down, and then a lot of these things you'll see uh, components of his final train set of three in the working drawings, sketchbook drawings, but you only see parts of it. So he's actually taking individual pieces, scanning them into his computer, and then playing with them further on the digital pad or right in whatever illustration program he's using, and then kind of putting these out as actual digital prints in the end. And as far as Clement goes, so it was pointed out to me, wow, that one of his sketchbooks on the table there actually says "in progress." Uh, I don't know if he did that before or after we decided on a title, but he has this pile of sketchbooks, and if you flip through them, you'll see kind of elements of where he comes from in the final works, and that's a lot of kind of animation, human figure, a lot of these things, and then working through a lot of stuff to the works that are in the gallery. Just the two large panels are, uh, I believe it's two of seven panels that kind of have this life-size dancing figure moving all the way across the gallery. Um, the kind of in progress parts of that, this is the one that kind of, I don't know if it bridges everything, but it's also an ongoing project. So he showed up last Monday after the show opened and continues to work into it, and will likely show up again on future Mondays to keep working into the figures, into the drawing, perhaps adding more gesture or more, uh, I guess in kind of animation speak, more frames in between to emphasize the movement and finish. So it was just kind of looking at all these different ways of looking at drawing, even just as medium, but also as process, and then how uh, the drawings are both the in progress part and kind of lead to this final product. And then in Clement's case, he's actually still going. He's still in progress. It's going to keep going, and I imagine it will keep going through his other five panels, which aren't in the exhibition, and perhaps in future exhibitions for him as well. That's pretty much the show.
Questions? Thoughts? Emily.
In the case of Clement's work that's in this show, is there a point at which it is no longer in progress, or is the point of that kind of a project that it is continually in progress?
I don't know if I have an answer for that question. Probably put that to Clement. I think part of this project for him is he has, I've seen six of the panels up in his home studio, and we were looking at them, and in the beginning, I would say they were probably in groups of 2 or 3 where the style kind of matched, like he really experimented with them. Some of them were quite uh, gestural, and the frames aren't quite there. The ones that we selected, I think, show a lot more of the movement and more of the uh, kind of shadowing or echoing that happens across the figures. Uh, I imagine there is a finished point sometime, but judging from what he's done just in the kind of few days of install and past Monday, I imagine that point is a ways off.
Any other questions for Craig? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.